Hi, I'm a local hippie, and today we're going to talk about my favorite novel of all time. We're going to be talking about Stephen King's Pet Sematary. And this is my favorite book of all time for a few reasons. I'm going to see if I can talk about them in as concise a period of time as possible, because I love this book. I listen to it multiple times a year, at least twice a year, at most 4 times a year. This year alone, I think I've listened to it 3 times already, and I'm listening to it again just because I've never read out of this copy, which is why it's not marked up or anything. It is my comfort read. It embodies every reason why I love Stephen King as an author, why he is one of my favorite authors, why I have a whole bookshelf dedicated to him and James Patterson, who is another one of my favorite authors. But Pet Sematary it's got everything. It's so good. And the one reason that stands out that makes me really, really love this book is that the characters feel so real. They feel like people I know. They feel like people I could become. They feel like my own family. And it just feels so real when listening to this book, because Stephen King just has such a way with words. Like, for better or for worse, he is a really, really good author, and he really knows how to tell a story. Like, yeah. Like, I cannot praise Stephen King enough, and Pet Sematary is just a shining example of why. So let me go ahead and read the blurb on the back of here. It says, "Sometimes dead is better." When Dr. Lewis Creed takes a new job and moves his family to the idyllic and rural town of Ludlow, Maine, this new beginning seems too good to be true. Yet, despite Ludlow's tranquility, there is an undercurrent of danger that exists here. Those trucks on the road outside the Creed's beautiful old home travel just a little too quickly, for one thing, as is evidenced by the makeshift pet cemetery out back in the nearby woods. Then there are the warnings to Lewis, both real and from the depths of his nightmares, that he should not venture beyond the borders of this little graveyard. A blood-chilling truth is hidden there, one more terrifying than death itself, and hideously more powerful. An ominous fate befalls anyone who dares tamper with the forbidden place, as Lewis is about to discover for himself. So, this book, so it being my favorite novel of all time, I should say, it's a 5-star. Like, it hits every mark. The pacing is great. The characters are out of this world. I love to write, and one day I just hope that I can write with even a modicum of the skill and precision that Stephen King has demonstrated in this book. This novel is the standard, okay? The way he wrote his characters, the setting, the pacing, just the ambience. Like, this book is very eerie, but at the same time, I find myself like laughing at times just because Stephen King is just so quippy and just so fun. The way he writes is fun. It's very urban. It's very, like, I don't know. It's groovy. Like, Stephen King's writing, just because you can tell he's a very intelligent man. Like, there's no question as to whether he has some smarts about him, because it's very clear that he does. The way he approaches the story, you can tell there's a lot of research behind it, and that he cares about what he's writing, and that he writes with intention. But at the same time, being able to be urban, being able to make the jokes, being able to make your audience laugh, being able to take such a big subject, whatever it might be, and to bring it down to where anybody can enjoy it, I think is a special talent, and it takes a special kind of intelligence, and that comes through most for me in Pet Sematary, and that's why I love it. I think it's a great example. I think Pet Sematary is like the pinnacle of Stephen King's writing, and I've read a lot of Stephen King. To me, nothing I've read by him has ever been better than Pet Sematary, or has ever even touched Pet Sematary. But I love these characters. They feel like my family. I keep saying that, and it's so true. They feel like my family, from Lewis all the way up at the top to Judd, to even Norma, Rachel, like even down to little Gage. I just feel connected to this book. And that was why I rated it 5 stars. And like, even whenever I first read it, which was years ago, I mean, it had to have been like years ago, in like 2019 or something ridiculous like that. So it was almost 5 years ago that I read this book for the first time. I read the physical copy. It took me months and months and months to get through, because I wasn't as avid of a reader back then as I am now. And I still loved it. Even back then, I wish I could go back and see what I rated it in Goodreads, but I don't think that I can, since I've read it so many times since then. And it's like one of those things where when you really, really love something and it's super hard to talk about, that's what I'm feeling right now, trying to talk about Pet Sematary. It's so hard to talk about because I love it so much, and I'm like, I don't even know where to start. I don't even know, because I think all of it is so good, and I think everybody should read it. Like, I think everybody should read it. I don't even think I can say one bad thing about Pet Sematary, because it's just that book for me. It's the one book that I go to. I think Stephen King did such a wonderful job. I mean, it's emotionally charged, because this man, like, Lewis's family falls apart, and it's like things start off so beautifully, so magical even for the Creed family, and as the story progresses, things slowly start to crumble, and they get worse and worse and worse as the story goes on, until everything just implodes. You see Lewis and Rachel having issues about Rachel's phobia of death, and how that's kind of driving a wedge between them right in the beginning of the story. And then you see, as things are getting better for them in their marriage, everything else around them starts to deteriorate. First of all, the first thing that just blew everything out of the water was the death of a college student. And then Lewis starts having these nightmares, and this college student is coming to him and warning him, like, stay away from the Pet Sematary, because with this Pet Sematary, the whole idea is that you're able to resurrect the dead. And you just see this like slow deterioration of Lewis's life until the end, where all has come to ruin. Those are my thoughts on Stephen King's Pet Sematary and a little bit of my scatterbrained explanation of why I love it so, so much and why it means so much to me. Like, if my house was on fire and I could only save a few books, that would be one of them. Probably the only 2 books I would save would be my Bible and Pet Sematary. Like, all the rest, maybe Moby Dick as well. But the rest, and probably Animal Farm. Oh my goodness. That you enjoyed. I hope that you read a good book. I hope you have a good day. I hope you have a good evening. And I hope you come back. I'll see you when I see you. Bye.